This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I've got Robert Firlotte with me. You are from Smith Falls.
Yes, I am.
And you are a new author.
First-time writer, yep.
Okay, and it's called The Winter Man Resort to Violence. So what was your inspiration? Why did you want to read a book, write a book?
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing. I didn't start out wanting to write a book. I was working along one day and this idea popped in my head, and as you work along, your brain is not thinking of anything, and it just started to snowball. And throughout the week, it just kept on snowballing.
The storyline?
The storyline,
yeah.
and it got more complicated, and eventually I started to write some ideas down, and over the next 2 years, it just became a real story. And then somebody read it and they said, you could publish this, you could get away with this.
Yeah,
yeah. It's not bad.
So what is the storyline? What is it about?
So it's about an ex-sniper who comes home and he finds himself to be secluded, and he goes up into the mountains and builds himself a cabin and a life for himself. And over a couple of years, he meets up with this resort owner, and they decide over the wintertime, instead of the resort being empty, which is prone to break-ins and whatever else, why don't you come down and you will be the winter man and stay there over winter and make sure nothing happens to the resort. And of course, he does. We start the story off, he's coming down the mountain, and he stays at the resort, and most often, things happen as soon as you get settled in a place. And then the story just tumbles from there about hitmen and mob, and there's lots of scary deaths.
Yeah.
But it's a really dynamic story of overlapping stories. And it's not just one focus on this one thing that they're trying to achieve. I'm trying not to give away a lot of the story,
no, you don't want to
right?
do that. You want to make sure people read this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So where in your mind or in this fictional book did this take place?
So this actually takes place in a fictional place in Colorado in the Rockies.
Okay.
And it's a place called Dusty. I had to make up a name.
Okay, I was just going to say, is that a real place? Or
Colorado? No, it's not.
No.
So I had to figure out a new name for a place that nobody's heard of and it's not taken already. And yeah, I called it Dusty, Colorado. And the resort is right outside. And there's a close city called Redwick, and or Redwich. It depends on how you say it.
Yes.
Tomato, tomato. Yeah, and everything revolves around that little area. And it's quite interesting how you can use the scenery to advance your story.
Okay, so you're writing a book, first time experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever get to a point where you got that block? You must have had to do some homework on it or anything, or did it just flow for like?
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing. When I was first hatching the idea, it stretched out over like a month of me thinking about different things, different aspects of the story, and what I'd wanted to add to it, and there was no real blockage. The only challenge I had was I've got a little bit of dyslexia, and when I write things down, it doesn't make sense to other people, but it makes sense to me.
Right.
So when I write a paragraph, I actually have to reread it like 10 times to make sure it looks right, and my brain clicks in and goes, "Oh, okay, everybody else can read this now."
Right. Right.
So it took a long while to get this written, and then when I thought it was great, I sent it to the editor, and then it comes back and there was more red marks on it than I've ever seen, even in high school.
Well, they say you never edit your own work because you see what you want to see, you know? Like,
yeah, and that was a big key to making this book so good, is that editor helped me to see where everything could come together. I didn't have to rewrite anything except for some major little mistakes of language or even the spelling was all good. It's just the language part,
Right.
which needed some touching up. But then I look back on the challenge and it was like, I did pretty good.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
I didn't have to rewrite like a
Well,
lot
and
of
you know
people.
what? You did good getting an editor that didn't change it and not make it your story anymore.
And that's the tough
That's
part.
hard.
To find an editor that goes with your vision.
Yes.
And like you're going to have some clash,
Yeah.
but there was nothing major. And eventually I came to think, oh, this person knows what they're saying.
Absolutely.
They-
I mean, you're
they're
still
the
looking at
expert.
this saying, this is my book.
Yeah.
This is my story.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
but they're the expert on how saleability
Yes.
and the likability of the story.
Absolutely.
So she was a big help.
Yeah.
And now it's the scary part of being a published author, which I like to think myself more of a storyteller because I'm not a classically trained writer. So yeah, now it's the scary part of doing the interviews, trying to drum up a little bit of press anywhere you can get it. And
Well, we have to sell this now. We have
Yeah.
to sell this now, too. So speaking of which, it's in a few locations.
yes, it's in Arley's in town here. It's in 2 stores in Perth. So I think it's called the Book Nook, and the other one is, I can't remember the name right now. I'm blanking. Sparkle or something like that in Perth, and then another place in Merrickville, which is
Are you online or anything? Or the book, sorry, it is the Merrickville Book Emporium, is it Merrickville?
Merrickville Book Emporium.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, and it is available on Amazon as a paperback or ebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
Either
and
way.
if I also have a website, Robert Firlotte. Just Google it and it comes up, and then I'll be adding more and more stories to that may make it into a separate book.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're already starting.
Yes.
Yes.
So the second chapter to this I've got about halfway done. This one's an even darker and a little more complicated story, so it's taking a little more time to work out the different aspects, how to bring it all together.
Right.
It's almost like looming, right? You got all these threads of a story, and you want to make it as complicated as possible, and then you want to try to knit all of these things together to make a nice conclusion to
Right.
the end.
Right.
But you want to leave it open so in case maybe there's going to be a third chapter. Who knows, right?
Yes, you never know. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So book signings?
Yeah, so right now we're looking at trying to get some other authors together and try to do a night where people can come together, listen to a few people talk about their books instead of just one person. Like, this is amazing, that, like, coming out and finding out that I'm not the only author here in Smith Falls.
Smith Falls, yes.
There are so many people that are writing books and are self-published. It's quite amazing.
And you know what? There's a lot of people that want to, too, as well. So people like you, you know, you're going to give them some incentive to, yeah, I can do it too.
And it's quite amazing that there's so many people that they do another job, and then they come home and they toil at the keyboard, and then they put out these books, and most of these people, you don't know their names.
Right.
But you go into the bookstore and there's their book. And then their name doesn't click into your head. Oh, that's Brenda from, the CIBC or,
Yes,
know.
yes, absolutely. We're all connected when small communities, for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. So there's 3 ways to get this book. The Book Emporium, no, there's 4. Math, huh?
Yeah.
The Book Emporium in Merrickville. There's 2 bookstores in Perth. Arley's here in Smith Falls, and Amazon.
And then Amazon, yeah.
Okay, and you're working on the second
chapter and some other stories I've been working on as well. One is very close to being done. That's a separate kind of story.
Okay, you have a
altogether.
Facebook page too. Is it Robert Writes or?
Yeah, Robert Writes.
Robert Writes, yeah.
I dabble on there.
Yeah.
Give some people some thoughts, some ideas, post some funny things sometimes, and give a sort of like a community for people to to talk about writing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for being here
Well,
today
thanks
and
for
telling
having
us
me.
about your book, The Winter Man, Resort to Violence, available at a few bookstores locally, and hopefully we'll see you at a book signing soon.
Yes, I hope so.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Robert Firlotte.